So how can we all connect to our own loved ones, whether you're a medium or not? So let's first talk a little bit about mediumship in general and how that works. So when a person is connecting to someone on the other side, they're connecting to them soul to soul. And so mediumship is essentially based on this concept that we're all spiritual beings having a human experience. We are spiritual beings who have bodies. We are not our bodies. We just have these bodies right now in order to experience life. And so when the body dies, our spirits, our souls, continue on without the body. And the other side, or kind of the spirit world, is very much all around us. It's not above us or below us per se, it's all around us. And connecting to someone on the other side is a natural process in that you have a soul, even if you're living and you have a body. You have a soul and a spirit and an energy that can connect to really anything. And since your loved ones on the other side are their souls, their spirits, their energies, it's quite natural for our souls to connect together. So I'm going to guide you guys through a little bit of an exercise today in connecting to your own loved ones. But that's essentially kind of the basis of the idea of mediumship. Now, when it comes to connecting to your own loved ones, where it can get a little bit tricky is in the fact that you already know your loved ones and you already know everything about them, or a lot of the things about them. And so it's difficult to receive validation that you're actually connecting to a loved one on the other side. So when we're connecting to spirit in general, the impressions that are coming through from them, the communication coming through from them, tends to be quite subtle. When they're connecting with us, they're sending us the energy of what they wish to communicate to us. And then that energy then is then translated into internal sensory impressions. So seeing images in our mind's eye, sometimes words in our head, sometimes feelings in our body, sometimes a smell or a taste, sometimes just a knowing of what they wish to communicate. All of these internal sensory impressions, first of all, they tend to be quite subtle. We have to become very mindful and very present with what's coming through in order to notice them. Also, they tend to feel like it's kind of arising from within us rather than coming from outside of us, which is where we tend to get a little bit caught up in our head about it and get a little bit in our own way. So when we're connecting to another person's loved one, let's say you're training to become a medium and wanting to learn and practice doing that, you're bringing through information from the spirit as well, things that you wouldn't know about, but then you can then validate that with the person you're connecting for. And that's where you can start to build your confidence, because you're bringing through information you didn't know beforehand and you're getting validation about that. Like I said, it's a little bit trickier to do that with our own loved ones because we tend to know a lot of those things. You could always ask your own loved ones to give you some information about something you wouldn't know about that you can then go check with a family member. That might be a little bit of a step further than what I had intended to guide you guys through today, but if you are craving that validation aspect of it, that is one way to do it. The other reason it's a little bit tricky to connect to our own loved ones is that we already kind of know our loved one's energy a little bit. Maybe it's somebody we knew really well. Maybe it's somebody we spent a lot of time with. Feeling their energy can sometimes feel so natural to us that it can be a little bit hard for us to feel the difference between that energy and something else. And so sometimes it's because their energy is so natural to us, it comes through feeling quite subtle. If it's somebody we wouldn't know, that energy tends to be a little bit easier for us to pinpoint than our own loved ones sometimes. It's kind of like, if you think about it, if you're at home in the kitchen and your husband walks in to the room, Sometimes we might not even notice that because we're so used to our husband's energy being around us. If it's a complete stranger that walks into the room, it's much easier for us to notice that happening because we're not used to feeling that energy around us. The third reason it's a little bit tricky to connect to our own loved ones is because we are often still going through the grieving process of losing our loved one. And a lot of that grieving process might involve things such as feelings of guilt or generally just very difficult emotions and thoughts around it. And those things might still be so present in us that it can be difficult for our loved one to kind of come through, for us to be able to feel something other than just those feelings of grief. So with this exercise, I really want you to check in with yourself and see if you're still very much in the depths of your grieving process. This might not be the best time to do this exercise because especially if you're dealing with strong feelings of guilt or worry and that sort of thing, that those things can easily taint your connection, and I wouldn't want you to make the grieving process worse for yourself, because if you're letting it's not even about letting, it's if your, let's say, feelings of guilt start to taint your connection with your loved one on the other side, it can be difficult then to discern between what is actually just those anxious, grieving thoughts in your head and what is actually from your loved one. And that's why you might want to wait a little bit until maybe you're feeling a little bit steadier before you connect actively in this way. A true connection with your loved one will always feel loving and uplifting in some way, never angry or accusatory towards you. Spirit, in my experience, has a much bigger perspective on things that are going on in life and things that we may have done at any point. And when they're connecting from the other side, they're all part of, they're much more aware of their souls being part of this bigger field of love and joy on the other side. And usually that's the type of thing that they will impart on us when they're connecting. So if what's coming through is feeling very depressing or accusatory or angry or scary, then that's likely not truly from your loved one. Then there might be some things within you that are kind of popping up and getting a bit in the way of your connection. So despite those 3 different layers of why it may be a little bit trickier to connect to our own loved ones, it's still an ability that is within all of us to be able to connect to our loved ones. Like I said, everybody has a soul, everybody has a spirit, everybody is energy. And your soul, your spirit can easily connect to other souls. Where our souls are not bound by the limitations of the physical world. Yes, they are within our bodies, but they can easily feel and pick up on other things outside of the body, other things, more subtle energy. Connecting to spirit is actually a very natural thing for us to do. Of course, connecting to spirit for other people can take a lot of training and practice, and it's not necessarily something everybody's interested in doing or may feel that they want to do. But connecting to your own loved ones is certainly something that I encourage people to maybe explore a little bit themselves. And for this exercise, I want you to practice putting to side and suspending your sense of disbelief for now, just in order to allow yourself to experience what you experience with this, and not judge yourself or not judge if anything comes through or doesn't come through. It doesn't mean anything about you or your abilities or about your loved ones. Most of the time when we ask our wonderful loved ones to connect with us, they will try their very best to, and sometimes it's just maybe we're not in the right headspace to do it that day. Maybe we're having a lot of doubts and that sort of thing. And again, it's a very subtle process, and it might take a little bit of practice. So if you don't feel or notice or receive any impressions today, I encourage you to practice and do it a few more times and really make a bit of a practice of it. And the more you can kind of get into this space of just opening up and being open to whatever comes through, the more likely you'll start to feel the impressions coming through from your loved one. Also, even if what comes through today on this exercise just feels like it might be something that your brain is just making up, maybe it feels like, oh, you already knew that about your loved one, or whatever comes through, or, we often tend to get caught in this thinking of feeling like it's our imagination just doing it. We just want to place our thoughts, those types of disbelief, just to the side for now. Just acknowledge and accept anything that comes through, and try not to overthink it too much. I also want to just mention that even if what comes through in this exercise for you just feels like it's you making it up, just go with it. Just suspend your disbelief for now. And it's okay if some of the things that come through, maybe you feel like those are things you already knew about your loved one, or maybe things that you want your loved one to say to you. It's best if we can just put our disbelief to the side for now in order to allow ourselves to experience fully what's coming through. The more we start to overthink things, the more we're getting in our own way of connecting. The best way of going about it is just with a light, easy heart and open mind and heart. So I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths. And with each exhale, I want you to just feel your body relaxing even more into the surface beneath you. And you might even notice how the surface beneath you really rises up to support your body. I want you to bring your awareness to any areas of your body where there might be any tension or pain, and just breathe into those areas. And with your exhale, feel or see that tension flow away. And just allow those areas to be. And then bring your awareness to any sounds around you, just acknowledging them and allowing them to be. Now, I want you to see or feel, and it's okay if you can't visualize clearly, just with your intention, know that this is what's happening with the energy. I want you to see or feel or just visualize or just imagine yourself standing in a waterfall of divine light. And just see or feel that waterfall of light washing over your body, washing away any negative energies, any foreign energies, anything that doesn't belong to you. Any fears or doubts about your own ability to connect to spirit, to your own loved ones, just see that all wash away. And now I want you to bring your awareness to the top of your head. And upon your next inhale, I want you to see or feel that waterfall of light flowing down through the top of your head and down through your body, filling up your body, filling up your feet, filling up your legs, your lower back and hips, your shoulders and your arms to the very tips of your fingers, filling up your neck and your whole head until every cell of your being is just vibrating with that divine light. Now I want you to bring your awareness to the center of your chest, actually, and to the energy center there. We just call that the heart chakra. And you might visualize this center, this energy center there, as a bright ball of light. And with your exhale, I want you to see or feel that bright ball of light there at the center of your chest expanding out, bigger and bigger, and brighter beyond your body, expanding out, big and bright around you, so that you're surrounding yourself with your own energy there, expanding out big and bright. This is your energy field that you've expanded out beyond you. And just notice what that energy there feels like as you've expanded your energy field out around you. Just notice what that feels like to you. I want you to mentally call on one of your loved ones that you want to connect to. Call on them in your mind and just know that they can hear and feel you as you're thinking about them. Now, as you mentally call on them, I want you to ask them to step into your energy field. And as you do so, I want you to notice, how does your energy feel different now with your loved one stepping into it? Maybe you feel drawn to a certain spot around you. Maybe you're feeling a sensation either in your body or in that energy right around you. Maybe an image pops up in your mind, where words pop up, or maybe just a knowing of their presence. Whatever comes up for you, just notice, acknowledge, and accept anything and everything that comes up. For just a brief moment, we're going to ask your loved one to just step out of your energy field just briefly. Again, mentally asking your loved one to step out of your energy field just briefly so that you can begin to feel the difference between what your energy feels like without anybody in it and what it feels like when their energy comes into it, and what their energy feels like and how that feels different from yours. And so I want you to mentally ask your loved one to step into your energy field again. And again, just notice, how does it feel different now? Maybe as they step in, they might be wanting to communicate with you, and maybe you're having words pop up or sensations and feelings. Just acknowledge and accept what's coming up for you. place your hands out in front of you. And I want you to mentally ask your loved one to place some kind of object of significance in your hand. And it might come through as an image in your mind, or a sensation in your hands, or just a knowing of what kind of object they wish to place there. And it might be an object that holds a significance personally for you or for them, or it could also be an object that holds a type of message for you. And just be open to whatever comes through. Just noticing. And it's okay if you're not quite sure what that object, what it means, or what the significance is. Just acknowledge and accept what's coming through there. Feel free to thank your loved one for the object, for the gift that they placed there. And they might want to take a moment now to communicate with you or to share something with you. Maybe there's this feeling of overwhelming love that comes up for you. Just take a moment now. Maybe you also want to communicate with them and talk to them and share something that's been on your heart. Just take that moment now to connect with them and to communicate with them. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes.